The path that migrants and refugees take through the Balkans to reach Western Europe from faraway places isn't as busy as it was in 2015. But interestingly, in many countries along this route, the number of people embarking on this journey is now the highest it's been since 2015. As more people continue to enter mainland Europe through the Balkan Route, some are suggesting that Europe might be grappling with both economic and political difficulties. The question that arises is whether migration, particularly illegal migration from the Western Balkans, still poses a challenge for the European Union. In today's video, we will discuss the meaning of the Balkan Route and its slight history. Then we will discuss the current trends. Then we will ponder on the political and economic impacts of this on Europe. And lastly, we will talk about the way forward. Before moving forward, we would like you to subscribe to the channel for more updates. So, for those of you who don't know, the Balkan Route is a migratory route that leads from Turkey to Western Europe through the countries of the Western Balkans: Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Kosovo, Montenegro, North Macedonia, and Serbia. It was one of the main routes for irregular migration to Europe in 2015 and 2016, when over 1 million people used it to reach the EU. It was triggered by the Syrian civil war, which began in 2011. The war caused widespread displacement and violence in Syria, forcing millions of people to flee their homes. Many of these refugees and asylum seekers sought to reach Europe, and the Balkan Route became one of the main routes for them to do so. However, the Balkan Route was closed in 2016 as a result of several factors, including the EU-Turkey deal, which saw Turkey agree to take back all irregular migrants who crossed the Aegean Sea to Greece. Plus, increased border controls in the Western Balkans made it more difficult for migrants to cross the borders. Moreover, the EU's decision to relocate asylum seekers from Greece and Italy to other EU countries reduced the incentive for migrants to travel to the Western Balkans. However, despite this, current trends indicate that the Balkan Route remains open and very active. In 2022, authorities recorded 192,266 migrants in the Western Balkans, marking a substantial 59.5% increase in arrivals compared to 2021 and a significant 348% surge compared to 2018. For instance, in Bosnia and Herzegovina, migrants spent an average of 58 days in transit reception centers in December 2021, but this duration rose to 8 days by December 2022. This change is also evident in the behavior of migrants living outside these centers. Previously, migrants would camp in national parks or occupy abandoned buildings for extended periods while attempting to cross borders. However, this pattern has shifted, with people now moving swiftly through the region, often in just a matter of days. The majority of migrants pass through Turkey before entering Greece either by land or sea or Bulgaria. Those from Central and South Asia, such as Afghans, Bangladeshis, Iranians, and Pakistanis, as well as the Middle East including Iraqis and Syrians, primarily choose the land route, often covering considerable distances on foot. An exception to this is Indian nationals, who have greater flexibility to travel by air due to visa-free agreements. On the other hand, most Africans initiate their journeys by air, either directly to the Western Balkans or through a transit country en route to Turkey. Until October 2022, Burundian nationals could enter Serbia without a visa, but the policy's cancellation resulted in a significant decrease in their numbers in the region. Similarly, Cuban nationals can access the region visa-free via direct flights to Belgrade or through Moscow. Once within the Western Balkans, the most frequently used routes involve passing through North Macedonia and Serbia, with many migrants then attempting to cross into the EU through Hungary's border. Alternatively, in Serbia, many choose to cross into eastern Bosnia and Herzegovina before attempting to enter Croatia from the northern and northwestern parts of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Therefore, it's crucial to comprehend that the Balkan route remains active, presenting considerable difficulties for both mainland and neighboring nations. Politically speaking, the migrant issue led to the rise of populism in Europe. For instance, in 2015, Viktor Orban, the leader of the far-right Fidesz party, won a landslide victory in the Hungarian general election. Poland and Austria too had a taste of right-wing government thanks to the rise of migration issues. While some people may not see populism as a major concern, the rise of populist leaders in Europe has led to the introduction of authoritarian and undemocratic laws that pose a threat to freedom on the continent. The Balkan Route also strained relations between the EU and Turkey. Turkey was accused of not doing enough to stop migrants from crossing its borders into Greece. This led to several diplomatic spats between the two countries. Moreover, the Balkan Route also hurt the stability of the Western Balkans. The influx of migrants put a strain on public services and led to an increase in crime. UNODC revealed in its 2022 annual report that opium traffic from Afghanistan to Western Europe through the Balkans amounted to more than $35 billion every year. The economic impact of the Balkan Route on the countries in the region is still being felt today. In 2022, the World Bank estimated that the cost of the migrant crisis in the Western Balkans was more than $10 billion. This includes the cost of providing aid to migrants, strengthening border controls, and dealing with the social impact of the crisis. The Balkan Route also had a negative impact on the tourism industry in the region. In 2022, tourist arrivals in the Western Balkans were down by 20% compared to 2015. This is due to several factors, including the security risks associated with the migrant crisis and the negative publicity that the region received. Another persistent trend is the constraint on resources. Recall that one of the factors behind Britain's departure from the EU was migrant concerns and sharing the burden. Interestingly, the abrupt and substantial arrival of migrants and refugees continues to overstretch the resources and capabilities of host nations, encompassing healthcare, education, and housing. As a result, tensions with local communities have at times emerged. Furthermore, rapid demographic changes and cultural differences have led to challenges in integrating migrants and refugees into host societies. These challenges have the potential to influence social cohesion and, unfortunately, contribute to the emergence of xenophobia and racism. Additionally, the Balkan Route has strained relations between the EU and other European countries. The challenges posed by the Balkan Route are a shared concern for nations like Serbia, Austria, and Hungary. The influx of migrants has surged, with many unlawfully crossing borders. What was once primarily a humanitarian crisis is now a lucrative venture for criminal syndicates. Meanwhile, Austria has witnessed an unprecedented rise in illegal migrant numbers. Approximately 600 asylum seekers enter the country daily. Frustrated by the lack of effective response from the EU administration, leaders from Hungary, Serbia, and Austria have joined forces to address the issue of illegal migration collectively. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban emphasized the toll of illegal migration, which drains time, funds, and efforts. He also pointed out the illogical double standards in pandemic management. While migrants traverse borders without proper testing and vaccination, EU citizens must adhere to stringent pandemic control measures. The situation is growing increasingly challenging, with alarmingly escalating figures. Amidst the ongoing conflict in Ukraine and the energy crisis, the migration issue is regrettably receiving insufficient attention. But what's the solution? So what's the solution? The increase in asylum seekers is a pressing issue. For instance, Serbia has witnessed around 3,100 asylum applications last year alone. The majority originate from Afghanistan, Somalia, and Pakistan, with additional applicants from places like Palestine, Iran, and North African countries. It's essential to acknowledge that many of these individuals are victims of devastating conflicts in places like Afghanistan, Syria, and Ukraine. However, the response from the EU has been lacking. On a positive note, the EU Council is aiming to expand Frontex's presence in the region, and Croatia is making strides toward Schengen membership despite ongoing violations. Moreover, Serbia, Austria, and Hungary have expressed interest in a trilateral agreement. Yet, a coordinated response is imperative. Furthermore, the inclusion of Romania and Bulgaria in the Schengen visa agreement needs to be considered. While there's a need for a coordinated response, both countries are relatively new and might require more time to fully align with European regulations. The situation remains challenging, and any delay in addressing migration issues could exacerbate the toll on the continent. All stakeholders must work together swiftly and effectively to find comprehensive solutions. If you like the video, feel free to subscribe to the channel for more updates.